Questions?
Does the higher education package, is that pretty much mirror the recommendations of that funding commission?
There are some adjustments. This is a primarily legislative project, but I think we did most of the things in the higher education package. We might have added some, or made some tweaks here and there, but it's for the most part.
What are some examples of the women's initiatives?
You'll have to get the specifics as we pull the bill out, but there's $750,000 for the Akron Battered Women's Shelter, $2 million for the center, the CAT Center in Cincinnati. I think there are more than 9 projects with nearly $5 million total to fight drug addiction. But there are some other specifics you'll have to get through the bill, but there's a few of them.
And I want to comment too, earlier when President Faber actually just had mentioned, I think what's important regarding the higher education question that you just had, I want to credit the President because part of this collaboration has been, as the President and I want to ensure that this has been truly a member-driven process, both on the Senate side and the House side, and understand that this is a legislative process that we're going through. So I really think that this came together really well. A lot of communication with our memberships, both on the Senate and the House side, that was directed through our chairs, and I would think you'll find that this is a very collaborative bill, and quite frankly, I think you'll also find it doesn't just look at how do we all do everything for our side of the aisle. This has been something that I know that Senate presidents work with Leader Schiavone, and we work with Leader Strayhorn on ensuring that we look at this in advancing all communities. For example, the Mahoning Valley, I think, is one of the largest investments we'll probably have made in some time in that area. A little over $5.8 million, I think, just in that region alone when you're looking at community projects. So this is some stuff that we've done collaboratively with our whole delegations, with our members in mind.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. One of the things that I always would mention to people when they come talk to us about specific projects, I'd always ask which members are supporting it. It was a member-driven project. It was a member-driven process. And so in the end, I think we hit that test. There's an awful lot of projects in here that cross party lines as well. So we mentioned just a couple of them. Other questions?
There's always a lot more requests than there is money for community projects. How did you settle on $160 million?
It was a compromise. It was a process between the administration, the House, and the Senate. Look, we looked at what we could afford. Again, to me, you have to do these things within a fiscal limitation, responsible limitation. It was consistent with what we've done in the past. Knowing last time was really what was called the double capital bill, because we did do one 2 years before that. There was some need. This time we tried to hit numbers that were in that range, give or take, without a whole lot of growth. And so we just worked out a number that would work. And frankly, that was the number that the administration and our finance people thought was capacity doable. And again, our goal was to make sure we're fiscally responsible. We did not want to materially increase the debt limit of the state in a way that put us out of the ability to service it within plenty of reserves.
Can you talk about a little bit more specifics on the water improvements to water lines and why that's important?
Look, we all know what the infrastructure needs are in the state. We have a commitment along with the governor. You'll have to ask the administration for the specific number, but I think we're now over $3 billion in infrastructure improvements on water lines and other projects around the state. We're going to continue to look at those things as we find ways to help local communities. At the same time, we've got state infrastructure needs and schools that have water line problems. Look, we're targeting school facility monies to try and address those problems. But this is one of the ongoing things we're doing to help our local government departments.
Is this going to be like the last 2 years ago, no amendments, you telling your members, this is it, it's a done deal?
We think that we've got an agreed product. I'll let the speaker talk to his process, but historically what this bill is one that we've tried to pre-handle all the amendments in the early process. Members can always offer amendments. Whether they're accepted will be up to the membership. But the problem is these are packages. And when you start cutting one thing apart, you start getting into other problems. So the speaker and I were talking about this earlier today. Is it possible that we need to make some changes and some tweaks? It's possible. When you got a bill that's this detailed and this I don't want to say large, but this complex, it's possible that we miss something. And that we talk to somebody about a project or we had general support for a project, for some reason it got missed, and we make those changes all the time. But this will be the traditional capital budget project process from my perspective.
Look, you gotta manage expectations. We don't have a huge pot of dollars, and so from our process, this has been worked on for several months in a collaborative measure between House, Senate, and administration. Like the President said, there are probably areas that we missed. There's probably things that need tweak, and maybe a couple things directed the wrong place. And we'll have many opportunities in other bills, I'm sure of down the road where we can make those changes. Other than that, I think that as we go forward for our process, we would like to continue to settle on where we've agreed on and move forward. Otherwise, we open up a can of worms just to continue. So I agree with the President. There's opportunities for us to look elsewhere in other bills that we'll have, especially in appropriations, if we need or find and deem that we need to make changes.
Just with regard to the process, which is kind of what we're going to do, I asked Senator R-Celina just to talk a little bit about his process that he had working with members. I think we have all members, Democrats and Republicans.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The Senate process was that I sat down with the members of both parties, all of them, to ask for their priorities. When the Democrats came into the office, the Democrat staff or ranking member Skindell was also there to give us an idea of what they felt was important, and also to let them know that this is a buy-in, this is just one party determining the outcome, that we truly collaborated with them. After the first round, I did meet with most of the Republican senators to get a follow-up. So we tried to keep the policy and the process inclusive, open, and so everybody felt that they had a clear opportunity to express what their priorities were.
I would just echo what Senator R-Celina said. On the House side, we basically tried to take everything into account from all our members. Ranking Member Driehaus was very instrumental on her side to work with me there. A lot of this is just trying to work through projects, understand what they are and if they even qualify. So as you might have already figured out, there's only so much money to go around. So we had to make some choices, but it was, I thought, a very well thought out process that worked fairly well on both sides, and I think we've come up with a good product.